On December 12, 2000, Al Gore conceded the 2000 election to George W. Bush after losing the state of Florida by so few votes it actually triggered an automatic recount. Now, George W. Bush didn't want to lose, and so he sued to stop the recount. The United States Supreme Court took up the case and paused the recount while they considered it. They ultimately voted 5-4 along party lines to not do anything, but in the process, they let the deadline pass. So when it went back to the Florida Supreme Court, they looked at it and they said, well, the deadline's passed, George W. Bush wins, even though the hand recount never officially finished. This resulted in Bush winning Florida and winning the election, even though to this day we still don't actually know who got more votes, even though we do know Al Gore won more votes nationwide and may have also won Florida, which would have decided the entire election. Despite that travesty, do you know how Al Gore responded? He said, "This is America, and we put country before party. We stand together behind our new president. I know that many of my supporters are disappointed. I am too. But I say to President-elect Bush that what remains of partisan rancor must now be put aside, and may God bless his stewardship of this country." Now, Gore never said that he thought he lost Florida, and he didn't concede because he won fewer votes. When he conceded, he said he did so for the sake of the unity of our country and for the strength of our democracy. So that was the vice president at the time responding to a pretty important Supreme Court case. Now fast forward to a fairly trivial ruling on May 16th, 2025. In really a pretty unremarkable ruling, the Supreme Court validated that people who were set to be deported needed due process before being deported. Do you know how our president responded? With an absolutely deranged public crash out, screaming in all caps at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon that the Supreme Court won't allow us to get criminals out of our country, followed by the Supreme Court has just ruled that the worst bad guys, dealers, gang members, and even those who are mentally insane who came to our country illegally are not allowed to be forced out without going through a long, protracted, and expensive legal process, one that will take possibly many years for each person, and one that will allow these people to commit many more crimes before they ever see the inside of a courthouse. I'm going to spare you the rest. Now, these aren't even final rulings. The Supreme Court simply said that due process needs to play out. As the highest court in the land, it is quite literally the entire point of their job. And this procedural decision resulted in an embarrassing social media meltdown, the likes of which we've become so accustomed to the media didn't even pay attention. He asked to dismantle the judicial branch. We asked what was for dinner. This was not doom-mongering. Instead, it's a reminder of what can be possible when we elect rational, sane human beings, the kinds of human beings who were largely normal before the era of Trump.